Everyone, today we are going to continue to knit our socks. We have already knitted half of it, and now we are going to start to knit the foot part. So here, if you are size 37, you can knit 2 rows less. If you're size 38, you can knit 2 rows more. So you have to knit from row 1 to row 20, and then again from row 1 to row 20, here the front part, and here you just knit stitches, no pattern, it's just simple knit stitches. So I have 15 stitches here, 15 here, and 15 and 15, so 60 stitches again. Here I have 14 and here 16 because one purl stitch we have here. So I hope it's all clear. And here is very easy, just go on without decreases, and here you go on, and if you are 38, after finishing 2 times this pattern, you can knit 2 times more. You can also try the socks and see. And then I will show you how to make decreases, and we will knit this part, the end of sock, and how to cast off. So for now, just continue to follow the pattern and knit. So I have finished knitting 2 times the pattern, so I have just to finish this part of the sock, where you have the toes, and I show you how to make decreases to have the finished product. So this is the beginning of our sock. As you can see here, you have a tail in the middle, so this is our first needle, and now we have to make all knit stitches except the last 3. Just knit until the last 3 loops stitches. Now I have the last 3 stitches. I will knit the last 2 stitches knit together to the right, and the last stitch just knit stitch. And now we will have to make decreases where we have the 2 purl stitches. You can move 1 purl stitch to this needle, so you have 1 purl and 1 purl. And now we make everything according to the pattern, like first we purl, then we just make all knit stitches, and now knit stitch. And now we have to make a decrease to the left, so just change the loops and knit together to the left. And now we have to make decrease here on the next knit 2 together to the right, and continue all knit stitches, and the last one will be purl. We are going to make decreases on our last needle, so the first one I just knit, and the other two I change the loops position, so the back loop will be closer to me, and I make decrease, knit together, knit 2 together to the left, and all the rest I continue just to knit. The next row, I'm now again at the beginning of my first needle. I will knit all the stitches without decreases, so here just are knit stitches. Here we have purl at the beginning and at the end, and all the rest are knit stitches. Continue this row by yourself. Now we are going to start the next row, and here we will make decreases. So on the first needle, knit all stitches except the last 3 and make the last 2 stitches knit together to the right. And then I show you how to make decreases on the second needle. We are going to start to knit on our second needle, and we have to get rid of this purl stitch at the beginning. So we will make knit together, knit 2 together to the right. And then continue all the rest until the last stitch, 2 stitches, when you have a purl stitch as well. I mean on the third needle where you have purl stitch here, you will make knit 2 together to the left, and here just all knit stitches. On the fourth needle, as usual, we knit the first stitch and the second and the third knit together to the left. Sorry. Okay, so the next all stitches we will knit, and then the next row without changes you also just knit stitches. So one row you will have to knit by yourself. I have knitted one row just all knit stitches, and now we have to make a decrease. So the way that we are going to make a decrease, you will make in a row every time until you will have just 10 stitches left on your needle. It will be actually our 11th row. When you have to, after 11th row, you will have to start to make decreases in each row. So now I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 stitches, and I will make decreases after not each row but in a row. So this row we are going to make decreases, and we will make them the same way until the end of the sock. So on this needle, as usual, we knit until the last 3 stitches where we have to knit together to the right, the 2 pre-last stitches. Cannot see on camera. And the last just knit stitch. And then on this needle you start with, you knit the first one and then knit 2 together to the left. And all the rest we just knit, then again knit until the last 3 stitches, and knit 2 together to the right. And the last one you just knit. On our last needle we will have to knit the first stitch and knit 2 together to the left. And then we will continue all the knit stitches. And so here you knit 2 together to the right, then next needle left, then decrease to the right, and then to the left. It's like that until you have 10 stitches left. After 10 stitches we will make decreases in each row, not in a row. So I have made decreases and now I have 10 stitches, and now we have 11th row of our toe upper part. So we will have to make decreases in each row until we have 4 stitches left on each needle. So in total you will have 16 stitches left. From now on you have to make decreases in each row the same way as you did before. So I have finished knitting and I have just 16 stitches left, and we must just close them up. For that you have to cut the tail. You don't need long tail, a short tail is rather enough, around this size, and a tapestry needle. So now the yarn is behind, so you had to knit 4 stitches to keep the yarn behind the work. So now we will make a stitch that you must be attentive. So first I insert the needle this way, that it goes sort of from down to up on the front needle. Then I have to make the same on the back needle. So this is my stitch and I go this way. So now I have to go back to the first stitch on the needle. So it's here, and I will do it this way. Now I go from this side. And I will release that stitch from the needle because this green needle was inside the stitch 2 times, as you will notice. And now I have to go to the next stitch from outside, like this. And now I will go to the first stitch on the second needle from outside. And already we had inserted our green needle in the first stitch 2 times, so we can release it from the needle. And now I will take my needle and go from inside to outside. So I hope it's clear. 2 times the needle must go inside the stitch. So now we have to insert to the second stitch on the first needle this way and release that stitch from the needle. Just release it and go from outside inside and then switch to the second needle, and we will go from inside, and then we release that stitch and move to the next stitch on the same needle, and the movement will be from inside to outside. And like this you go on until you have the very last stitch that you do the same movements 2 times. So now I'm moving to this one, and I release it and go out on the next stitch. Then I go inside and release and go out. Then go inside. Release. Go out. You don't have to tighten now. You can tighten later when you finish all the stitches. Don't tighten too much, just a bit. Now we can release this stitch and go outside. You can imagine that the needle goes inside and outside if it's easier for you. And I think you already understood like that. You go back and forth till the very last stitch. The last 2 stitches, and now I already went inside the stitch 1 time. Now I have to go second time. Just go this way and I release this needle and go this way to the last stitch and I release. So right now I can tighten a bit each stitch with the needle like this, so it will look like a neat stitch at the end. Don't tighten too much. If you like, you can even tighten. Actually, I like when there is sort of line, but even if you see, it looks just like a neat stitch, nothing more. And then just insert the tail inside and hide it as usual. So I practically just take like that and tighten all the stitches. If you want just to see as if it's a knit stitch, you don't have to tighten as much. So that's what I got at the end. So now I just take the yarn and insert in the needle and move it to the other side of my work. Just insert to the close by stitches. Okay, and then go to the other side of the sock and you can hide it by making few stitches and hiding the yarn in between the stitches. So normally I just go under some loops, make some knots, now I can cut the yarn, cut the very thin yarn. Oh, I cut there. Okay, and so just split the yarn into two, and make several knots. If you're used to hide the yarn other ways, it's completely fine. Not so important how to hide. Just hide it as durable as you can, not to have untightened. So you understood, make several knots, and then you can even cut as short as you can, and they will not untighten. I'm glad we have finished knitting our socks. I hope you enjoy my tutorial, and now you have a pair of warm socks, or you can use the same pattern for summer style socks, because you see this pattern both suits. And don't worry if you think that it will not be warm enough in these socks. Actually they are quite warm because this one is pure wool, and I think it was not so difficult. But if you still have some questions and many or some things were not clear in the video, you can always write a comment below or contact me on my Instagram, and I always try to help the people who follow my tutorials to make their process of learning as easier as possible. Thanks for watching, and see you again next time.